Okay, so we are on this paper 2 of your exam practice paper, the one about city. So we look at question 1. This is about a before and after question. Okay, why do I know that? Because of all these keywords. At first, and then in the end. So I know I will want to probably draw something like a model, perhaps. So we start off with before first. City had 6 more pencils than Mirza at first. Alright, so if you remember in the class, we said that we can use color coding to represent before. So we're going to have City and Mirza, with City having 6 more pencils than Mirza. So these are all before that. Alright, now what happens? The story carry on. Mirza bought another 24 pencils. So we are going to have another color that says after. And when you buy 24 more pencils, your bar is going to get longer, right? So this Mirza is going to be buying 24. And interestingly, City didn't buy anything. So for City, it is the same units like that. Whereas for Mirza, in the end, he has what he had originally, and he has bought another 24. Alright, now let's make this model a little more friendly. We have a 6 on top and we have a 24 below. We could actually try to divide such that this portion here is also equals to 6. Alright, now remember Mirza bought 24 and already there's a 6 portion being cut out. So what is the remainder? That's 18. Right? Now let's continue the story. In the end, Mirza had 3 times as many pencils as City. So the model is going to be something like this. Mirza having 3 times as much as City. And you can see that the difference is actually a difference of 2 units. And these 2 units, can you see it from the model here? The 2 units is actually the difference here, right? These are the 2 units difference. So now you have it. Alright, with a very clear model drawn, you now know that 2 units is equals to 18. 1 unit is equals to 9. How many pencils did Mirza have in the end? So Mirza actually has got how many units? 3 units. That's in the end, right? So 3 units would be 9 times 3, which is 27, as your answer. Okay, question number 2. You have a number that is 1005 when rounded off to the nearest 100. So what they are trying to say is there is actually an original number, and this original number when rounded off gives you 1005. Of course, you are rounding off to hundreds. And they are asking what is the smallest possible number. Now, smallest possible number, it has definitely got to start with 1000. Alright, now for it to be small, you have to think about it. The second digit, has it got to be 4 or 5? Alright, it has to be 4. 4 is smallest, right? I can't go to 3 because if I have 3, I round up, it's still 4. It doesn't reach 5 at all. So I want it to be the smallest possible, and we need to decide on the third digit now. The third digit has to be a number that's equal to 5 or greater than 5, so that this number will actually get rounded up. So to make it as small as possible, I will keep it to 5. And the last digit being the smallest possible will be 0. Alright, so you double check, does this 400 round up to 500? It does, right? Because of the 5, the digit 5 at the back. So this is my smallest possible number. Alright, now the largest possible number, of course, we have to start with 1 again. Okay, and this time round, it seems quite easy to know that if I want it to be largest, I will have this to be 5. Right? Now ask yourself, in the third place, third digit, Should I have a 5 or should I have something less than a 5? I need to have something less than a 5, right? Because if it is a 5, this will be rounded up to a 600. So I will need to keep this as big as possible, but still smaller than 5. So 4 is my biggest, and 9 is my next biggest. So this is my answer, my two answers for part A as well as part B, the biggest possible number. Question number 3. Okay, it's a red question. So this over here, it says 2:16 hour. Now let's convert this to a nice number first. 2 hour, 16. And 16 hour, how much is that in minutes? Alright, so what you can do to convert would be, you can multiply 16 by 60 because 1 hour has 60 minutes. So you want to know how much is 1/6 of an hour, right? So that is about 60 minutes. 60 minutes, 1/6 of it is going to give you 10 minutes. So I know that 1/6 is actually the same as 2 hour, 10 minutes. Alright, so your first hour is going to be $2.80. So this is for 1 hour. Alright, of course, I believe you have to pay more because you park for 2 hours, right? So every 30 minutes is going to be $1.05. Now to make things simple, I'm going to double up so that I will have it in a set of an hour. So this is $2.10. Okay, so $2.10 will help me to pay for the second hour. This is because of the subsequent block, if you remember, block. And how much am I left with? Okay, how much am I left with? I'm actually left with another 10 minutes. Now this 10 minutes, I have to pay an additional block, right? And this additional block is going to cost me $1.05. Because of the extra 10 minutes, I cannot be just paying 10 minutes, I have to pay in blocks of 30. So these are the amount that I'll be paying, and in total, this is by calculator $5.95. Alright, okay, question number 4. Question number 4, you are supposed to draw a triangle and PQ needs to be equals to PR. So remember, when you start to draw, you will always want to begin with a sketch, roughly knowing how your picture looks like. So PQ is already given, that's PQ, and that's how many units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Okay, 5 spaces, 5 units. And this PQ has to be equals to PR. So that means if this is 5 units, this has to be equals to 5 units as well. So I will need to draw a PR, maybe here, that is also 5 units, and it is towards the point R. And to do that, and to make sure that it's equal, it must be 5 units. And then final thing, of course, is to connect the triangles. So with a ruler, okay, let me mark the equal point first. So this length is supposed to be equal to this length. And you shall have your triangle looking something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And connecting, remember your checkpoints, they are all at the corners. So make sure your checkpoints are correct. And this is such a nice figure because every line is also touching the dot at the same time. Alright, so that's going to give you your drawing for question number 4. Alright, now the long-awaited question 5. Question number 5, very interesting question, and this was also a question that not many could answer last year. Alright, now before I actually start off this question, there's a bit of concept that I will need you to understand first. Alright, now let's take a basic rectangular shape. Of course, I can take a square shape as well. Alright, now let's take this length as 10, okay, just an imaginary one, and this as 5. Okay, now you know that if a triangle, I'm going to use a different color, a triangle that lies in between a rectangle like that would mean that, okay, this triangle that I shade in black would mean that the base is actually 10, right? And the height is actually 5. So to find the triangle area is actually half times 10 times 5, which will give me 25. Now if you see the area of the rectangle, it is 10 times 5, which is 50. If you compare 50 and 25, you realize that the triangle is actually half of a rectangle, right? So the idea over here, if you know, will apply for this question as well. What do I mean? Okay, quite an interesting question. This question actually requires people to have what I call as an imaginary line. What do I mean by imaginary line? Now let's start off by looking at this square first. So this square over here would be a 24 times 24, which is going to give me 576, right? 576. Now I want you to pay close attention now to how I mark out a imaginary line. Okay, I'm gonna mark out an imaginary line, and the imaginary line looks like this. Interesting, huh? In case you're wondering, why did I have an imaginary line at DE? Because once I draw out the imaginary line DE, do you realize that the purple triangle has a base of 24 as well as a height of 24? Right? So that purple triangle is actually also the same as half times 24 times 24, which is going to give me 288. Alright, 288 refers to the triangle here. Okay, now you might be still very confused. Now I'm going to use this skill called splitting up. If you remember, when we learn geometry, we split up confusing figures. Now I'm going to take off one of the rectangles out, and this is what I'm going to do. Now I'm only interested in this rectangle, and within the rectangle there was this purple triangles that I actually cut out. And just now we actually found out that the area is 288. Alright, I just took out this part of the rectangle. I just took it out. And you know that this is 30 cm and that's 30 cm. So do you think you can now find what is the height? Okay, so what goes is half times base times height is going to give you 288. Okay, and you already know what is the base. The base is 30. You don't know the height, which you need to find. That's 288. If you remember 60 experience, we did something like this before. So to remove this half, this is going to be doubled. 288 times 2, which is 576. Now, if you can find the height, that's going to be 576 divided by 30 to give you 19.2 as the answer, which is also the height here and here, which is exactly what I want to find, AG. Okay, so quite an interesting question. You might want to take some time, pause the video, and just re-look at what has just happened. Alright, I'm using the base and the height from another triangle to find out the height of the other triangle. Alright, something like that. Okay, so for some of you, you might want to take some time to figure out what has actually just happened. Alright, okay, and moving on, we are going to question number 6. A set question. Alright, so like I said, the skill of using set is so important. Alright, so I guess you would have figured out that this actually refers to one set. And with $42, let's try to see how many sets can you buy. $42, you're going to buy one set for $5. You're going to be getting about 8 sets. Now with 8 sets, it's going to cost you 8 times 5, $40. So which means that remainder will be about $2 left. Alright, you still got a $2 left. Now let's first of all find out 8 sets of cupcakes is how many? 8 sets of 6 cupcakes is going to give you 48 cupcakes. Okay, remember you still got a remainder of $2. With $2, can you still buy some more? You can, right? Because one cupcake is 90 cents. So you can still buy roughly about 2 more cupcakes. So that brings you a total of cupcakes to buy, 48 plus 2, which is the answer, 50. Okay, question number 7. You have this lady who has some milk, she poured out and then her mother added. In the end, there were how much left? Now, if you have remembered your P4 stuff, this is about working backwards. Alright, you started off with some milk, which you don't know how much, and you pour out and then people added in. So if you could remember the step, you start off with an unknown, you don't know how much is the milk at the start, but along the way, because she poured out, when you pour out, you will have to minus off. And you get some amount here. And the mother added, wow, the mother added, so add in 2 whole 1/10, and in the end, we are reaching the end, there were 3 whole 1/4. Okay, so working backwards will mean when you want to work backwards, you use the end figure, you go backwards, right? You reverse your operation. And then you also reverse back because you want to find out at first, which is the first question mark. Add back 1 whole 3/5. So if you use your calculators, you will be able to get the answer 2 whole 3/4 liters as the answer. Remember your units as well. Okay. Alright. Question gets easier and easier. Let's move on. Question number 8. Alright. So when it comes to graph, first thing that I'm expecting all of you to do is to make sure all your numbers are correct. Alright, no point solving the questions if you are reading off the wrong number. So like I always will tell everyone who is doing mathematics, dealing with graphs, you can even spend up to 1 minute checking your reading. Because you know that once your readings on a graph is wrong, every part of your question is wrong. What was the reading at 4 p.m.? So this is 4 p.m. We are interested in this part here. And if you actually see, there's altogether 5 units. 5 units jumps by 10. So 1 is about 2. Right? So the number will be 62. The difference between the highest and the lowest. So I am looking at the highest, which is 76. I'm looking at the lowest, which is 28, and it gives me the difference of 48. Okay, so that is for part B. of your answer. Okay, gets simple and simple. So let's move on. Question number 9. Question number 9. A trapezium. So similarly, if you remember the skills, we have to read the English first, which I'm reading now. Sometimes you can color, sometimes you can cover, sometimes you can split up the pictures like I did for the triangle just now. Okay, so you have got a trapezium, and the trapezium would mean that there's only one pair of parallel line, right? So where is the pair? The pair is here. Okay, and that also means something very important, right? That something would be a small angle plus a big angle adds up to 180 in between the two parallel lines. So this must be 100. And then this must be 180 minus 57. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are ready to read on the question some more. I'm going to use different colors now because there is something else that I spotted. I think you would have spotted as well. I spotted an isosceles triangle. So with the isosceles triangle, I have an 80 here. So what does that mean for these two sides? It will be 180 minus 80 divided by 2. And that's going to give me 50. Alright, so this part here, in different color, I'm using color. I'm also using split. This part here would actually be 50, 50, 50, 50. If that's 50, that's going to give me this part here also 50, right? Because the total is 100. So the question is find x, z, y. Where is x, z, y? X, z, y is here. Wow, colors helped. So this one in red will be 1, 2, 3 minus 50. It's going to give me the answer 73. And please, for goodness sake, remember your units. If you have not written your units, minus half a mark. It's easy as that. Question number 10. A question on volume, and you have got a tank that is measuring like that. Okay, so if you could recall, volume is equals to length times breadth times height. So you have your length, breadth, and your height is filled with some water. In fact, 3/5 is only filled up to 3/5. Alright, so let's find out the capacity first, shall we? So that is going to be equals to the capacity of the volume, but you know that of course the water is not filled to the brim, right? So even if you have gotten this answer, you know that this is not the volume of the water, it is more of the capacity. Alright, because it's only 3/5 filled, so you will like to know what is 3/5 of this amount, and that's going to be 3/5 times 54600, and with a calculator is 21840. So that's the water. Alright, so this is the volume of water. And the question is, how much more water is needed? So if you know that your capacity is, the full capacity is this, you have already got this amount of volume of water, then, okay, I noticed a mistake. I was writing out the answers instead. So let me change my answer. Is actually divided by 5 times 3 is 32760. 32760. So this is 21840. Alright, some of you who are fast would probably do the other way, right? Because you know how much water is left. So the shorter way would be taking 2/5 of the capacity straight away, right? Then you get your answer already. But you need to remember, you need to give your answer in liters. So 21840, this is cubic centimeter, is the same as 21840 milliliters. So how shall we convert that? From a small unit to a big unit, we divide it by 1,000. So this is conversion, 21.84 liters. Alright, so if you are poor with conversion, please, for goodness sake, go and write it out properly. Alright, 21840 divide by 1,000, something like that. Question number 11. A TV costs this amount, but this lady was lucky, managed to get it at a discount of 30%. So meaning to say that she's only paying 70%, right? She's only paying 70% of this amount. So let's see how much is the TV now. It's only going to cost 70%, and that is this amount. And you have got to pay a 7% GST. So let's find out how much is this 7% GST. A GST on top of the price that he has to pay. She has to pay, by the way. Alright, so with this amount, 3682 divided by 100 times 7, that is 257.74. Wow, this is GST alone to the government. So that's a lot of money. So how much did she pay in total? She has to pay the price of the TV after discount plus the GST. Okay, which will give you the answer 3939.74. Now some of you may think of a shorter way to do it. My shorter way will be on this step here. So some of you, your shorter way will be because you know that you are paying a 7%, right? So your total amount that you're paying is 107% straight away of the TV price. You will also get the same amount. Alright, so that is going to be the answer, 3939.74. Please remember your units. Alright, just hang in there. We are at question 11 already. We are going to move on to question number 12. Okay, question number 12, it is about, feels like sets to me. Alright, so you have got a total of $93 spent on marker and pen. But there's an additional condition. Instead of one set with one marker and one pen, the statement here says this: twice as many pens as marker. So instead of one pen, your one set has to consist of two pens. That is for one set. Okay, so let's go on to find out how much is one set first. Anyway, so one marker is going to cost me $260, and a pen would cost me, each marker costs 80 cents more, right? So a pen is cheaper. A pen would be minus 80 cents. A pen is going to be $1.80. So that is the cost of one pen. Alright, so let's go on to find out how much is in one set. So one set is made up of $2.60, one marker, and two pens. Two pens would be 180 plus 180. That's two pens. Okay, so one set has a total of $6.20. Alright, so let me highlight the important info. One set is made up of one marker, two pens, total $6.20. And you spend a total of $93, right? So let's proceed to find out how many sets did this person buy. With $93, the person, one set costs $6.20. So very nice number, 15 sets. Alright, now how many pens did the person buy? It will mean that there's actually 15 sets of two pens. That's going to be 15 times 2 pens. And the answer is 30. That's for question number 12. Okay. Okay, question number 13 now. Okay, question number 13, you have 3 different types of flowers and the ratio is given as such. You have got your C, your roses, and your sunflower, and a total. Right, so I'm going to have a column called a total. And the carnation is 2, total is 5. Now, if carnation is 2 and the total is 5, is there any hidden information? The hidden information that you can discover yourself? It means that the rose and sunflower adds up to a total of 3. Alright, so that's the hidden information that I can get. There were 66 roses and 48 sunflowers. So in fact, sunflowers and roses, they told you, is 66 and 48. So that's going to be a total of 114. And this 114, we know that it represents the 3 units on top. Alright, so let's just plug this down first. 3 units is 114. Alright, now let's answer part A. Part A, easy. Roses to the number of sunflowers. Alright, so we are going to use the number as per given. Roses to sunflower. Roses is 66. Sunflower is 48. Simplest form would be 11 is to 8. So that's the answer for part A. 11 is to 8. Please get the order right. If your answer is 8 is to 11, it's wrong. That's for part A. Alright, now let's go back to part B again. So part B, we were saying that there's a total of 114, and this 114 is for roses and sunflower. Okay. Okay, the florist ordered more carnations. In the end, there were twice as many carnations as before. So let's find out how much is carnation. How many carnations are there in the first place? So 1 unit would be 114 divided by 3, which is going to be 38. Carnations is actually 2 units, right? So carnations would be 38 times 2, which is 76. Alright, so right now, all this were before the carnation was bought. Extra carnations were bought. So since they said there were now twice as many carnations, that means the person bought 76 more, right? To make it double. So what's going to happen is that the carnations is no longer just 76, but it is now 152. Okay, one more time I'm saying the carnation is now not 76 but 152. So carnations to the total, that's what the ratio they want, right? So carnation is now going to be double, 72 times 2, whereas the total, just now we didn't calculate the total, so with these 5 units, let's find out. 5 units is 38 times 5, which will be 190. And 190 cannot be the number. Why? Because you also bought, remember, you bought double the carnation, which was 72. So the new ratio that you would have would be 154 is to 266. Again, this cannot be the answer, right? Because you need to make sure it is in the simplest form. So the simplest form is actually 4 is to 7. That's question 13. Alright, so the carnation was doubled up. The total number must also add the 72 new carnations needed. Alright, so let's move on. We're going to question 14. Okay, question 14, you have 2 identical right angle triangle. They are very nice to tell you the dimension. So if this is 20, this is also 20. And if this is 99, this is also 99. So the parameter of the figure is 390. Okay, now the figure is already, some of the dimensions are known to you, right? Those that are in red are known to you. So what are those that are unknown? This is unknown, and this is also unknown, right? But they are equal length. So what can we do first? 390 is a total parameter. Let's take off all the sides that we already know. Okay, that's going to be equals to 152. Now with 152, this 152 refers to the two lengths of the two black lengths, the two black lengths that you have here and here. So why don't we just divide it by 2, then we can find out the sides here already. Okay, so can we now find the area? Will be a lot easier, right? So area of A, B, and C. So area of A, what would it be? 76 times 101. Alright, what about area B? How about we do area B plus C together, so you don't have to halve it. It will be 99 times 20. And when you add up these two numbers, can you try to see if you get the answer? 9656. Alright, I'm trying to save the video time, so I'm not going to write down the numbers. But the number answer is 9656. Please make sure your units are in. Alright, okay, now we go on to question 15. Question 15 is a question on before and after again. Alright, why do I know that? Because of all these keywords that comes in. Alright, where's the keywords? Let's see. The keywords are at first, and then you have in the end. So all common words. So let's try to find out, or in fact, let's do color coding even. So there were 3, 4, 6 marbles at first. So there's a lot of changes going on. Some people put 50, some people double, and in the end, there was equal number of marbles. Alright, now you will have figured that to draw a model, this part here will be the easiest to draw. Alright, now let's do color coding again. This is for after. Alright, this is for after. And there was equal number. So we're going to have A, we're going to have B, we're going to have back C, having equal number. Okay. Alright, now we need to travel back time. This is definitely the case of before. Alright, so let's look at back A first. Betty put 50 more marbles into back A. So that means to say that before that, there were actually 50 lesser. Am I right to say that? There were actually 50 lesser. The original before was shorter by 50. Now you doubled the number in B. So that means originally for B, there was only 1 unit here. Originally there was lesser, alright, it was half of it. Now it was double. The blue one is after. Now back C, you reduce by 86. Wow, you reduce. That's why it got shorter. So that means before that, for back C, there were this amount and an additional 86, isn't it? Because before you reduced it. Alright, now there's a number that we forgot to put in just now. 3, 4, 6 marbles at first. Now because it is at first, so that means the one in red is 3, 4, 6. I use red for 3, 4, 6 because it refers to before. Okay, see how the color helps, Alright, now with the model being drawn, we are now going to try to solve things. Alright, now 3, 4, 6 was the original number we had. Alright, now I would like you to improve the model a little bit, because if I know that this is 1 unit, this is also 1 unit, and this is also 1 unit. Alright, this is also 1 unit here. Okay, but oh dear, this is not a complete unit because of the 50, right? So what I can do is I can always add the 50 back to make it a fuller unit. It's going to give me 396. Okay, now with this 396, there is also one extra unit here that doesn't even feel like an equal unit. So I will need to subtract it off so that there's now equal units, all right? And that's going to give me 310. Now, exactly how much is this 310? 310 is for 1 unit here, 2 units here because you have filled in a 50, 3 units here, 4 units here, 5 units here. So that is to say 5 units is equals to 310. And always like to find out 1 unit, right? 1 unit would be 310 divided by 5. That's going to give me 62. So question is how many in bag A at first? In the end. In the end will be blue color, 2 units, right? So that is 2 units would be 62 times 2, 124. So that's for part A. How many in bag C at first? Bag C will be 2 units. At first will be red color, right? So there will be here, there will be here, and there will be also 86. So that's 2 units plus an 86, which will give me 210. So the answer for part B is 210. So over here, now the same question is not going to come out, but do you see how important colors are? Very, very important. Colors helps you to see the differences. Alright, so we're going to move on to question 16. Now, easy question, easy average. Part A, I will not want to go through because part A is just applying the formula total over the number, right? So the total is 320 over the number, which is 4 tests. That's going to give you 80 as the average. Okay, part B, set for another 2 tests. Now the average increased by 4. So meaning to say now the average is, instead of 80, is now 84. And 84 is for all the 6 tests. So we want to find out, let's find out how much is the total. So this is the total for all 4 tests, all 6 tests I mean. Okay, and there's already 4 tests over there. So the score of those 4 tests would be 504 minus 320, 184. So what does this 184 mean? It means the last 2 tests. Alright, and they want to know the average score of this last 2 tests. It will be 184 divided by 2, which is 92. Alright, now you notice as you do a lot of exam papers, you find out that as the question proceeds, the question seems to get somehow easier and easier. Alright, I need you all to have this mental thinking that not every time the last question must be the toughest. This is not true. In fact, the last question can be the easiest, or the middle part of the question of the paper can be the easiest as well. Alright, so in fact, some schools have even set questions where the beginning, question 1 is the toughest, is the hardest, to scare you off, and then it gets easily and easy and easy. Alright, now finally our last question, our favorite question on Ali Bala. Okay, so the Ali Bala question is here. You get a tank, is 1 feet filled, and it's going to have a mass of 2020. So this is the tank, and it is only 1/5 filled. Okay, out of the 5 units. Now you have a second situation. The same tank, instead of 1/5 filled, is filled to the capacity. What is the meaning of capacity? That means it's filled to 5, right? Instead of just 1 unit, it is filled up to 5 units. 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so the mass over here is 2020. The mass on top here is 4900. Haha, can we find a difference? The difference of how many units? 4 units, right? 4 units difference. Alright, so 4 units is going to be equals to 4900 minus 2020, which will be 2880. So as usual, we always find for 1 unit. That's 720. Now if you know that 1 unit is 720, this is 720, right? This is 720. These are all 720. Let's try to find out how heavy is a tank. If you already know that 2020 is a total, minus away 1 unit, that is going to give you the mass of the tank, right? Alright, so now the tank is going to weigh 1300. So question is, how much is the mass of the tank when it is half filled? Half filled will mean what? You know there's a total capacity of 5 units. Alright, half filled would mean that instead of 5 units, it is only 2.5 units filled. Right, half of a 5 is 2.5. So how much is 2.5 units actually? I'll have to continue here. 2.5 units will be 2.5 times 1 unit, right? 720. So 2.5 units is going to be 1800 heavy. Now this does not include a tank. These are only the shaded part, 2.5 shaded parts. You have to add the tank back, which is 1300. And you get total of 3100 as the answer. Alright, so question 17, Alibaba question. So I hope you had fun with this paper 2 and come to realize that paper 2 maths is after all not that scary. It can be quite fun, it can be quite familiar if you know how to apply the right skill. Alright, I'll see you in school again.